Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this.
Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp of the Denver Broncos. Come away with an improbable, impossible, unbelievable, I could think of 8 other adjectives right now, win over the New York Giants at home. Giants had this game the entire way. One of the craziest sporting events I've ever watched, and I've watched a lot. Did not think the Broncos were going to win this game really at any point until the very, very end of the fourth quarter. Broncos had a win probability of less than 1%. It was 0.07%, 0.7% at one point in this game. And Broncos were trailing with 26-8 with 6:38 left in the fourth quarter. They then scored a whole bunch of points, including 33 in a quarter, which is certainly I believe a Broncos franchise record for one quarter. And it's just, it's unbelievable. I still can't believe they won. I just watched the entire fourth quarter yet again. And fourth quarter is certainly going to take up a majority of the podcast today. But we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the very ugly of this Bronco win over the New York Football Giants. I want to start at the end of the third quarter, where the Denver Broncos have had just an absolute miserable game so far, which I'm going to get into a little bit more later on this podcast. The Giants had just scored with Tyrone Tracy Jr., a fifth-round pick out of Purdue in the 2024 draft. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea who he was before this game. His first touchdown of the season goes untouched to make it 19-0 in favor of the New York Giants. Interestingly, go for a 2-point conversion to try to make it 21-0. Had they just taken the point after touchdown, they might have actually won this game, as the Giants would later go on to miss 2 point after touchdowns with a shaky kicker that they have, and they sure could have used the extra point later in the game. So now it's Giants 19, Broncos 0. Broncos, even on the return, they still get a special teams penalty from J.L. Skinner returning, and even further back. First 8 possessions, the Broncos so far have 6 punts, 1 turnover on downs, in which they attempted to go for a touchdown on the 2-yard line in the first half and ran one of the stupidest screen plays I've seen in a while in an NFL game that got completely blown up by the Giants. At least this time, the Broncos stuck with the run because, quite frankly, at this point, what do they have to lose? They finally start running J.K. Dobbins effectively. What a concept. J.K. Dobbins starts producing now and things open up. Nice play to Cortland Sutton. Finally get up to the 48-yard line. Huge Dobbins run again to the Giants 10 with a 32-yard gain. And now it's the end of the third quarter. We are now in the fourth. Broncos offense is finally having some sort of semblance of really anything going on for the day. Get down to first and goal on the 2. Giants almost picked off Bo Nix. Had they picked off Bo Nix, I think the rest of this quarter is irrelevant. And Broncos go up to lose this game. But luckily for the Broncos, did not happen. Nix has a pass deflected by Cortland Sutton. Deflections in this game were a problem for Bo Nix all day long, both from the Giants' perspective and from other players. But the Broncos get unreal lucky on this deflection and get a catch by Troy Franklin in the back of the end zone. He catches the pass intended for Sutton. Broncos finally get on the board, go for 2. Now they finally get it to Sutton on the 2-point try. It is now Giants 19, Broncos 8. Broncos have finally scored on the board in the fourth quarter. Broncos, they bring up, have scored, outscored opponents 36-0 so far in fourth quarters in the last 4 games. Of course, that's going to change a little bit with the Giants. as the Giants are driving now. The defense for the Broncos, which had been dreadful all day, they were getting absolutely railroaded by Cam Scatterboo, who's a fine young running back for the New York Giants. And Giants are driving now. Scatterboo keeps running. Just another huge run, 18 yards. Another run stopped by Zach Allen. Luckily, Giants take some penalties, get a little unlucky on a deflection, but oh wait, there's another penalty. And Theo Johnson gets a ricocheted pass that was meant for Wendell Johnson, and the Giants have now scored a touchdown. So the Broncos get a deflective pass for a touchdown that was stupid lucky, and the Giants come right back and do essentially the same thing. So that's a bit what happens in this league is eventually there's enough plays run that things cycle. Things catch up. Giants 26, Broncos 8. Broncos starting to drive again, finally getting J.K. Dobbins involved. Now, Evan Ingram finally gets some plays involved. Broncos finally run on 3rd and 5, one screen pass. They've been throwing screen passes all day. I actually tweeted about it here earlier in the first half, including the blown-up screen pass on 4th and goal at the 2-yard line. Sean Payton was insistent on running some of the most uncreative, uninspired screen passes in this game, which will be part of the ugly. It was absolutely, I hadn't watched that many screen passes get thrown in a game for the Broncos since Josh McDaniels insisted on throwing endless bubble screens way back in the day. But Knicks get sacked. Oh, wait, holding call on Garrett Bowles. I mean, it's like one thing after another. Luckily, they kept going. Ingram gets another good gain, another deflected pass. This is now the 4th one of the day. I don't know what's up with he either isn't seeing things or the book is out as soon as you know when he's going. Just put your hands up because clearly there are defenses adjusting to what Bo is doing. But I'm very happy to see that Evan Ingram, the tight end, is finally getting involved, which really it's about time. Broncos on 4th and 2 get a first down on penalty, pass interference against the DB who was going against Pat Bryant. Very lucky the Broncos got that PI because honestly, they could have easily turned it on downs and the game is essentially over. 1st and 10, Knicks runs to get the first down. There's now 6:21 left in the game. It's still 26-8. Incompletes pass to Sutton. I don't want to go on and on, but some of this just gets crazy. There's more deflected passes. He has 5 now in the game. But Broncos keep going. Knicks, 2nd and goal, runs for a touchdown. It's now 26. Giants 26, Broncos 14. They go for 2 to Troy Franklin, get the 2-point conversion. At this point now, I'm starting to wonder just maybe that last touchdown wasn't total garbage, and maybe this touchdown isn't total garbage because now it's a 10-point game. All of the pressure is on the New York Football Giants, and I had not seen this stat on the broadcast, but as I rewatched, it's important to note the Giants haven't won a road game, period, in their last 8 attempts. It's the 3rd longest streak in the franchise history, and the New York Giants football history goes back as long as the NFL has been in existence. Now, I'm breaking this up into a little bit of sections because, quite honestly, it's just hard to get all of this. Is all 4th quarter. This could be an entire game worth of content. We're talking about 1 quarter. So Giants get the ball now. They are running the clock as they should, force the Denver Broncos to take timeouts, which they are. Another run, more runs. 3rd and 5. This is where the game truly got out of hand for the Giants. This is where a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart, who had a fine, excellent performance that I did not see coming at all. I thought that he would be in trouble against this defense, and in the first half, he was anything but. And Dart does the one thing you cannot do in this situation. He would have been better off literally taking the handoff and taking a knee, forcing the clock to run, punt on 4th down, pin the Broncos back in their own territory. But instead, he tries to be the hero, overthrows, and Justin Sternad, who's a fine player, playing much better, talk about him a little bit later in the week. Justin Cernod has a great interception. It's now 1st and 10 on the for the Broncos. Still time left. It really is truly a game disaster play for Dart, because I think that was the one that really. There are other plays we're going to go to, but you just cannot throw that pick in that situation. Honestly, Jackson Dart would. I say it again. He would have been better off taking and running clock and then punting. Broncos now finally get the ball. No, getting going. Go to 3rd and 5. Giants jump off sides. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. Broncos get a nice 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. 1st and goal, try to pass to Marvin Mims, doesn't work. 2nd and goal from the 2, Nix rolls out to RJ. Beautiful throw. I mean, just absolutely on the numbers. Broncos touchdown. Now it's game. Now it's 26 for the Giants, 23 for the Broncos. Broncos don't get cute. Take the point after touchdown. There's now 3:51 left in the 4th quarter. They have now outscored their opponents 51-7 in the last 4 quarters of the last 4 games. Giants have the ball. 1st and 10, no gain. 2nd and 10, really no gain. Finally, the Broncos have stopped Cam Scatterboo, who was just absolutely destroying them in the first half. 3rd and 8, Jackson Dart overthrows Robinson, and he was open. But it's an overthrow. Crowd is loud now. Pressure's on the rookie. I don't blame them. And announcers have now brought up the fact that the Giants have lost their top defensive backs to injury. So now the Giants not only are reeling from the situation of the game, but now all of a sudden their defensive backs, who have played, quite honestly, an excellent game against the Broncos offense, are no longer available. And the Broncos are all of a sudden starting to move the ball. 3rd and 11. Nix, so far in this game, is 4 of 11 on 3rd down. He's only gotten 2 first downs on 3rd down. It's been terrible. Terrible. Huge play to Marvin Mims, who's really the hero of the game other than Nix. Marvin Mims had a fantastic game. Broncos finally get a 1st down on 3rd down. And then 1st and 10, short at incomplete. 2nd and 10, great pass to Ingram. Ingram makes the 1st down on 2nd down, which is key. 1st and 10, and Bo Nix holds onto the ball, but uses his legs, something he should have been doing more, quite frankly, the entire game, something he should be doing more for the season. Obviously, running quarterbacks do take hits, and it is an injury risk, but he's a young guy. Broncos score touchdown. Now, Giants 26, Broncos 30. And I'm thinking at this point, I really am just thinking, if this defense is actually worth anything, this defense has to get a stop. The Giants are reeling. If the defense just holds, the Broncos are going to win this game. After a little bit of that, the Giants are back, have the ball on the 35, 1st and 10. Jackson Dart gets sacked. And they're basically taking penalties to lose the game. 3rd and 19. Now there's only 1:14 left in the whole game. 4th and 19. And Giants get a 1st down on a roughing the passer call on John Franklin. Basically, if John Franklin Myers just held his hands up, just put his hands up, don't rough the passer, then the Broncos get the turnover on downs. Game is over. They're up by 4. You run out the clock. Giants can't stop the clock. It's over. Absolutely brutal. Quite frankly, inexcusable for a veteran player of his stature to take that. You can argue whether the NFL should have those types of flags on quarterbacks, but it's not debatable. If you do what he did, they're going to call it every single time. He knows better than that. It's really, luckily the Broncos, despite all this, can win the game, but that is just an unforgivable penalty on John Franklin. And Giants get a 1st and 10. Another unforgivable play. Giants basically go for the kill shot, and Talia Taponga and Brandon Jones, instead of calling for the ball, managed to run into each other and not intercept Jackson Dart. Had they intercepted Jackson Dart, the game again would be over. So now we've had 2 different instances where the defense has every opportunity to end the game, both on 4th down both with an interception, and neither one happened. 3rd and 10. This is where we get even worse. Now the Broncos get very unlucky with a very questionable, very poor call of a very late flag of pass interference on Riley Moss, who did turn around and make a play on the ball. Referees should not be calling that in that time frame of the game. It's a terrible call. It's an inexcusable call. And Sean Payton basically loses his mind. Takes a flag, which stops the clock again, although the clock was already stopped due to the pass interference call. But I'm surprised Sean Payton actually didn't get himself thrown out of the game, given how bad he was getting it to the refs. And frankly, I wouldn't have blamed him there, because that is a game-changing, horrendous call where the game is being decided by referees, not by the players. 1st and goal on the 2-yard line. Giants sub in the extra lineman to basically power run Jackson Dart, who had a fine run play, get in to score the touchdown. And this is where I really was thinking, well, it was a good effort. But Giants miss another point after touchdown, which is, quite frankly, so the NFL had moved, for those who don't know, the NFL moved back the kick for the point after touchdown a little bit a few years ago to basically have this happen, where the point after touchdown is now a play you have to watch because it is possible to miss. I feel terrible for the Giants kicker, even though he's a young guy. He will not be employed by the Giants, probably either, because he missed a second point after touchdown, which now means it's Giants 32, Broncos 30. So now the Broncos not only can get a field goal, not just a tie, but to win the game. Broncos managed to get a decent return. There's only 37 seconds left, no timeouts. Broncos on their own 23-yard line, so nothing special. Nix managed to mess up, overthrows the primary receiver again from Marvin Mims, who, quite frankly, is really, again, Marvin Mims is the hero of this game, because he made plays that were off script, very difficult, and quite frankly showed his football instinct. Marvin Mims makes a huge play, huge game. Giants to get offsides penalty when spiking the ball, because the Broncos run down to spike the ball. Broncos somehow are now on the 43 of the Giants after the penalty. 1st and 5. Pass to Mr. Reliable, Cortland Sutton, who makes a great over the head catch behind him. Now at the 25-yard line, 39-yard field goal for Will Lutz, and your Denver Broncos now kick a 39-yard winning field goal to win a game that they should have lost probably 15 different ways, and the Giants lose a game that they should have never. Honestly, it probably is going to cost their head coach his job. That would be my projection, because I don't think the Giants are going to win a lot of games after this, and this is kind of the type of game that, unfortunately for the Giants, who are now 2-5, for the Broncos are 5-2, this is the type of game that can derail an entire season, even for a professional football team. I was already tired after the explaining the fourth quarter of the Philadelphia game a few weeks ago. This was even more bananas. I still really can't believe that the Broncos managed to win this game. And this fourth quarter will be one that will be remembered in Denver for a very, very, very long time. So that was the good. The bad for this game was the Denver Broncos defense. I don't know what happened. I thought that they would be motivated, given the comments made earlier in the week. I talked about that on my preview show on Friday. But the Denver Broncos defense was terrible. They were just terrible. Jackson Dart deserves a lot of credit. He played, frankly, a professional game. He put everything on the line. I have nothing but respect for Jackson Dart, given that he's a rookie. He did not play like one. He played excellent for the whole game. But the Broncos basically could not stop the run, could not stop the pass, and really for the first half got absolutely destroyed by the Giants in all facets of the game, run and pass. Giants still finished with 387 total net yards They ran 69 plays. Their average gain per offensive play was 5.6 yards per play. So they were almost averaging half a first down every play. They ran for 119 yards. Jackson Dart had 268 yards passing. His gross yards passing was 283. And he had the one disastrous pick. But the the Broncos defense was terrible. It was really bad. And one of the more egregious ones is Alex Singleton. He got absolutely wrecked by the Giants' tight ends and wide receivers. I'm not quite sure what to do with Alex Singleton at this point, but it might be time for the Broncos to seriously either trade for a linebacker or he can ride the bench, and the Broncos will be going in a different direction. He's a complete liability for the Broncos on defense, and I hate to say that, but you can't have linebacker play who can't cover in 2025 NFL. It's not going to work. And the New York Giants did manage to lose this game, but there were long stretches where the Giants were just absolutely destroying the Broncos. I mean, the fact that Cam Scatterby for the game, the first half, he was just absolutely killing them. Just absolutely killing them on the ground, even though he only had 5 attempts for 18 yards in the first half. But Jackson Dart was running around. All these guys were running around. The Broncos could not basically get out of their own way. And so it's just, I'm not super worried about the defense, but there is now film on how to beat this Broncos defense. And if the Broncos are going to be better, they're going to have to rearrange some personnel and really address their linebacking position in coverage. And finally, the ugly, which has to be discussed because, quite frankly, the Broncos, as I tweeted here, and you'll see, that was, quite frankly, an unprofessional effort in the first half. The Broncos will take the win, but I guarantee you, if they play like that, anything close to that against the Dallas Cowboys next week, they will lose. And I, quite frankly, don't think the Broncos at this point will win against the Dallas Cowboys, but I'll talk about that at some point down the road. First half for the Broncos, they had a total net yards of basically everything they had combined was 100 yards of offense in the entire first half. They were shut out. They were inefficient. Bo Nix was terrible. They were 2 of 8 on third down. They couldn't get anything going, either in the run game or the pass game. Their red zone efficiency, where they actually got down to the red zone and threw really a very easily readable screen pass that got completely blown up in about 2 seconds by the Giants to Cortland Sutton. Sean Payton, I think I just about lost my mind with Sean Payton and this endless just arrogance. It's absolutely pure arrogance for Sean Payton to think that every play has to be this clever, cute, designed roll-up screen pass. Quit throwing screen passes, Sean Payton. Quit throwing them. They don't work. If they worked, I would be okay with it. But there was just endless screen passes in the first half. And the Giants, they obviously watched film. They knew exactly what was coming every single time. They were so ineffective. It was honestly, it was like watching a really poor high school game. It was that bad. The Broncos' offense in the first half was so ugly that they are extremely lucky that they won this game, and they deserve credit for winning this game. But that first half cannot happen when your head coach is supposed to be this offensive guru with a quarterback he picked that I still like. I'm still on Bo Nix. I still like Bo Nix. But whatever you're doing to prepare for the first halves of these football games is not working. It's not working. And the third part I still do not understand is that the scripted plays or whatever you game plan for the entire first half of football was not only ineffective, it looked seriously like you didn't even practice or know what you're doing for an entire half. of an NFL game. With that being said, I do commend the Broncos for not giving up. I do commend the Broncos for finding a way to win. I do commend the Broncos for providing us all with some mile-high magic. But it has to be better. The play calling has to be better, and I don't know if anyone can tell Sean to run the ball. He even has, he's literally put it on play sheets that he has to get shown on national television, run the ball, and he still won't do it. He won't do it until it's finally forced upon him in the second half to have some sort of run-pass balance and cohesive structure. I was listening to 104.3 The Fan. I'll give Josh Dover the credit for this because he went back and watched all the first half. The Broncos passed on first down in the first half on 60% of all first downs. And of those, basically of those first down passes that they tried, they basically were incomplete or ineffective 9 out of 10 times. So the Broncos should be commended for their effort. However, they will not win against the Dallas Cowboys and will not be able to dig out of a hole like this in the next game, which I will be previewing this Friday. It's a little bit long on the pod today, but it's quite the game. I'm happy for the Broncos. They're sitting at 5-2. They are alone in first place in their division. They are currently the 3 seed in the AFC, which is amazing. But this team needs to find some sort of way to have cohesive offensive performances, or else this season, which has been remarkable thus far, will not end the way that they want it to. Once again, my name is Andrew Sharp, Sharp Sports YouTube Podcast. I appreciate you sticking with me. I appreciate you listening. And I'll be back on Friday to preview a little bit of the Dallas Cowboys coming to Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening.